Gotta do it for yourself and kicking ball since you were young. Lions on your kit, but you've been playing since a cub. When you're stepping on the pitch, you know you gotta...
Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It is the first and opening game of the FIFA 2022 World Cup. The host, Qatar versus Ecuador. And Ecuador was simply too quick, too strong, and too powerful for the Qatarians in this game. And look, there was almost some controversy in the opening minutes where what to most people seemed an absolutely legitimate goal was disallowed. This was given as offside in the opening minutes. And there were many, many people. There were many, many people that thought, could the rumors be true? Could it be that the Ecuador would be cheated out of this game? And I'm not somebody that believes in conspiracy theories. I'm not somebody that thinks they're happening or they will happen or they're true. But there's a little moment where I thought, wow, what could go on here? But if we have it right, Ecuador, too strong, too shrewd. They just had so much more experience at the higher level of the game. And in fact, the second half was an absolute bore fest. And it was a bore fest because Ecuador didn't need to attack. They didn't need to expend any more energy. They can save themselves for their next game. And of course, Senegal and the Netherlands are in this group. It's a very difficult group for Ecuador to get themselves out of. Ex-West Ham man Enner Valencia steps up, gets himself a brace in this tournament. I think it's 5 goals in total now for Ecuador at World Cups, making him their highest goal scorer, and a fairly comfortable win for them. And I don't want to hate on Ecuador too much, but my God, sorry, Qatar too much, but my word, they're bad. They are weak, proper weak. And anybody that plays them at this tournament is going to have a field day. Anybody that plays them is legitimately 110% going to have a field day. It is going to be simple. It is going to be easy. It is going to be a walk in the park. Senegal's ability on the ball, Senegal's power, Senegal's speed, done. When it comes to playing the Netherlands, no word of a lie. When it comes to playing, they're going to have to, have you been hurt at work recently, Jamie? You better call the accident hotline. You know what I mean? Have you had a fall at work? That's going to be these guys. Their necks are going to be sore. The way the Netherlands are going to pass the ball around them is going to be next level. They're there because they're the hosts, and that is the rules, but the quality just isn't there. And I'd love to see them score a goal. They're fans. You can see they're desperate for it, but the standard is low. Absolutely low. Big up Chelsea fan. Hope that you're well. Everyone tuning in, let me know where you're watching from around the world. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. We have got someone on the ground in Qatar that will be reporting daily for you in the mornings ahead of the games and everything else. So the Football Terrace has got representation out in Qatar, and maybe a little bit more in the back end of the tournament if you keep your eyes very firmly open. But make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Man like Matt here says, I'll be back here, Terry, when the Aussies beat France 2-1. I like that, Matt. And what we're going to be doing, we will be doing match reactions after the majority of the big nations play. And after most evenings games as well, for a bit of a daily roundup as well. So lots of content. Legitimately one of the only places that's going to open up the lines most days for you to phone in and have your say as well. So make sure you stay with the terrace. Yes, Jess is in Qatar, as you know. Jess is out there working for multiple people, smashing it, as we know. So very well done to her. Although we miss her very dearly here at the Football Terrace. Of course we do, having her in person. But people have got to pursue their careers and their dreams, and you can't turn down going all expenses paid, access to every game to the World Cup. You can't turn it down. I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't. I probably would, because I've got to stay here and talk to you mugs. But most people can't do that. Terry Moise Caicedo needs to leave Brighton. What a player. Look, we know how good he's been in the Prem. I'm not going to overhype him for today, because this is legitimately I think most championship teams would beat Qatar. However, we know how talented that guy is. He really is. Hi, Terry, 15 years old from South Africa. Big fan of TFT. Just wanted to keep up the good work. Qatar are shocking. Firstly, thank you for watching all the way in South Africa. And being a fan of the terrorists, we'll keep working for you no matter what. And yeah, Qatar are shocking. They are shocking at football. They really, really are. The BBC coverage is disgraceful of their agendas. I don't know what you're talking about. Elaborate, my bro. Elaborate for me. Terry, this wasn't a big game. I know this wasn't a big game, but it was the opening game. You know what I mean? It was the opening game. Gonna big man like Ram on in a minute. But did you guys see? Did you guys see the Ecuadorian fan calling for bribery after the goal was disallowed? Take a look at this. He's calling it out and he's saying there's bribery. And that guy who doesn't sound like he's Qatari to me. He might be, but he sounds very London. Was like, shut up and sit down. I mean, he might be from Qatar. His parents might have grown up in London. But anyway, accent-wise, shut up and sit down, he tells you. Relax. Honestly, had me dying, bro. I saw it. I was like, no way. He actually stood up. He actually had the cojones to do it. I tell you, there's a few places I've been in the world. Certain countries, they've got such strict rules. Like, I don't mess about. Like in the States, if a policeman says do something, I see the gun on the hip, I do it. I was in the south of Italy for a kickboxing tournament. I was scared of everyone, right? Because it was even police, or you never know who man was related to. Of course, not every. I was like, no, I'm not going to do nothing wrong in case I say the wrong thing to the wrong person. I wouldn't be in the Middle East mapping off doing anything like that. Just wouldn't take the risk. I'm scared though. I'm the kind of idiot that thinks if you get bitten by a snake or a spider in Australia, you're dead in like 30 seconds, like in the movies. Yeah, I'm a bit of a weirdo like that. But there we go. Ram's here with me now to have a chat about the game. What you saying, bro?
Hey Terry, it's been a bit of time since I last came on here, but yeah, it was. I'll say after the first half, the game was done. Right, it's at the end of the day, Qatar is a relatively new nation when it comes to these big tournaments, and Ecuador, I think they've been in the World Cup for the past couple of tournaments, so they know what it's like, and the qualities come through. Especially with Enner Valencia, took his penalty well and scored an absolutely brilliant header. And then from there, it was just more or less lights out. Like, Qatar didn't really show much. I was a bit disappointed. I thought they would do something at least, seeing as though they are the home nation, and normally the home nations do give us a little bit of excitement. But yeah, it wasn't a great showing. It was very much one-sided, and it was an Ecuadorian domination to an extent, even though the scoreline doesn't really say it.
Yeah, I felt in the second. I mean, they had a really good chance they missed that went over in the second, but I felt they played within themselves. And why would you not? Like, as much as they don't have anyone in the Ecuadorian team, they don't have any real. They'd love to win it, but they know they're not going to win it, right?
Yeah.
They need to reserve energy and try and get as deep into this competition as they can. They're probably not going to have anybody with the capabilities of being the Golden Boot winner. So there was no need to try and score 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got the 3 points. Let's rest up and let's get to the next game. But yeah, as you say, with that, like, I mean, most first-time nations, whether they're the hosts or not, fail to win their opening game in the World Cup. I think Senegal were the last team to do it, if I'm not mistaken. The rest, generally speaking, lose their opening game. But they were very poor. I mean, I know that England have got Iran in their group, and Iran are often criticized, but I genuinely feel like other teams like Iran and whatever else generally are superior to this. I mean, it's probably one of the worst World Cup performances I've ever watched.
Yeah, I guess also it's the hype as well. They wanted to come out and show what they're all about on the footballing stage, and it was just a bit dead. It was dead. Like, they couldn't string a couple of passes together in Ecuador's half. It was like, you've got your chance to host a World Cup. Now show something that you show us what you got. And it's like, yeah, it was a little bit peak at times. Like it wasn't a good watch. It wasn't. But at the end of the day, in terms of Ecuador, I think given the situation that's happening, obviously in Senegal's camp where Sadio Mane's is out for the entire tournament, this is probably a really good chance for them to actually go past the group stage. I think they got past in 2006, if I'm not mistaken, but they haven't. They're not known. They're not a massive nation in the footballing stage, but this is a great opportunity for them to stake their claim into the round of 16 of the World Cup. So we'll see what they're all about.
Yeah, yeah, Ecuador did in 2006. England then knocked them out in the last 16.
It was Beckham, wasn't it?
Yeah, Beckham's free kick. If my memory serves me right. So yeah, I mean, it'd be good for them. I mean, the group's very, very difficult for them, and it's very likely that the Netherlands and Senegal each get 3 points from Qatar, which means it becomes a kind of round robin shootout between the rest of them. I mean, you never know. Maybe one of those teams just has a terrible night, and the Qatarians are just they manage to up their levels and do something different. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not too sure if that's going to be the case, my friend. I'm not too sure about that at all. In terms of we haven't spoken in the build up to the World Cup, who are you looking at, Ram, as your favourites to win it?
It's going to be Brazil for me. I think they've probably got the most all-round squad. They've got the best goalkeeper in the world. They've got arguably a really solid defense. They've got decent midfield in Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes, and then their attack is just very, very talented. For me, I think it is Brazil. Then just behind them, I'd say Argentina. I think it's probably the best chance for a South American team to win it. Like compare it to the other European teams like Spain, Germany, England. They're all in a sort of rebuilding situation where they've still got quite a few young players that still need that experience on the world stage. I think England's a little bit more ahead than Germany and Spain, but I still think maybe we're just a tournament away from actually fulfilling our potential. But that don't mean we can't go far. But the South American teams, their teams are at their peak, are at that level where they're all more or less at their best, and they can go on and push on and go to a final of the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm looking at Argentina. They seem to be the one for me that kind of stands out in that way. So I think Argentina, great chance, great opportunity. Brazil, the Brazils, like a lot of people are writing off Germany. There's certain countries when it comes to the actual tournament, I never completely disregard Germany, Brazil, France. I mean, I know France has just had a massive blow with Karim Benzema going out, but they've still got a very, very talented.
I don't know, Derek. I think they're going to get knocked out of the group stages.
Really?
Wow. I believe in the curse, Terry. The curse is real. The curse is real. I mean, the last 4 European nations, if I'm not mistaken, that all got knocked out of the group stages of the World Cup. I think Italy, Spain, and Germany. Oh, sorry, last three got knocked out. Oh, and France as well in 2002. So, yeah.
I mean, the previous winners have then gone out the following year.
The following tournament. So, I believe in that curse.
I mean, they've got the problem is with their group. That means you're saying that both Denmark and Australia are going to be better than them, because I can't see Tunisia doing it.
Yeah, but is that I have a feeling it's just I don't think it's down to whether the other nations will do or have a better squad. It's just whenever France, you get 2 scenarios. One, they do really, really well and they all come together and they produce this brilliant team, or it goes really, really badly, like 2010, where they decide to revolt against their entire manager and coaching staff. So it's just one or the other. And I feel like, given the circumstances, injuries and everything, I feel as though it's going to be the latter rather than the former, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that, mate. I do. And interesting. I wanted to go to this in just a second. Sorry, I didn't mean to click on that button. Problem with StreamYard is I put this in, it wanted me to do it. Someone sent me for a video. The 2 gentlemen that were arguing in the stadium over the bribery thing, it's now reported that they are getting along.
This is Peter. He is an Ecuadorian and he is here to watch the match today. صار بيني وبين اشتباك لكن سلمنا على بعض واعتذرنا على بعض. نتمنى منكم يا جماعة أن تنشرون المقطع هذا مثل ما نشرتوا الاشتباك اللي صار بيني وبينه. احنا في النهاية مشجعين. In the end, we're only here to watch this beautiful game.
Yes,
And
yes.
vamos Ecuador.
Yes. We got passion, makes sometimes people upset.
Yes.
But we come together for sport. Sport brings people together.
Of course.
So we're very friendly with each other. I wish Qatar the best.
Of course.
And
We
it's
wish
a
Ecuador
beautiful
the
World
best.
Cup. So
Do you know what I'm going to say about that, right? That's what happens when you don't have alcohol involved. If that was a German and a Brit and they were drunk, maybe that wouldn't have ended so nicely. But that's kind of nice to see it end. And by the way, now hearing the Qatarian gentleman speak, I can definitely hear the Qatarian accent. It was just through the crowd. He sounded like a South Londoner. Like he sounded, shut up and sit down.
and everything. Yeah. Completely
But,
understand.
Yeah.
That's football, in it. It's like in a moment you're screaming and shouting, and then afterwards you kind of make up in it. So it is how it is.
And that's how it's meant to be. Like it's meant to be that way around. So someone says the PR is crazy, but again, that's not PR, my friend. Like that's not. By the way, I do need to make everyone realize not everybody that you see with, and I don't know what's the official attire called. What's the actual name for the kind of headdress and the
Don't know.
whatever it's called. I don't want to get it wrong. Like not everyone that wears that is like a prince or a powerful person. It's like the general populace wear it. I think sometimes people see it and think, "Oh my God, that means that person is of power and their bribes." No, that guy is just like a normal guy, probably. He might not be, but he might just be a normal guy. Do you know what I mean? Tomorrow morning he's gonna get up, put on his boots and go to work on a building site, or open up his bookstore or whatever he does. It's not everyone that lives in the Middle East is a billionaire oil baron, or the son of a king. Like it's crazy to think that that's the way it is. But there we go. Ram, I want to get your take on something else that's also come out tonight. The news has broke that FIFA will not allow England and of course Harry Kane, he's the captain, to wear the One Love armbands that are a symbol of respect and support and solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community. FIFA have reportedly, I'm not saying this is official, I haven't read anything, I'm just reading the tweets about it. I've said that they will be banning England from wearing it. There'll be no supporting publicly of the LGBTQ plus community. Like, what's your personal take on that stance from FIFA?
Well, I have a feeling that FIFA sort of representing what Qatar want. We all know that Qatar is very conservative with its views about homosexuality and LGBTQ plus and everything that goes around that's under that bracket. Do I agree with it? Personally, no. I think people should have the freedom to do what they want and how they want. But it's a sticky one. Like we obviously are in a situation where we have a different culture where we are very accepting of those. But I feel as though if you want to have a stance on it, and you're playing in a nation that doesn't allow it, it's mainly up to the nation. But for something that is deep rooted and something that's more widely accepted across the world, I have a feeling that I think you should give the people the right to platform what they believe in, regardless of whether you disagree or not. I think it was personally the wrong move, but if FIFA or Qatar don't want it to happen, then they're the rule makers, and we can't really do much about it. But do I agree with it? In my personal view, I don't.
My kind of view is this. Firstly, that the players are not politicians; they are sports people, and they should be allowed to play their sport. So I don't want the players being dragged over the coals for this. But I believe if someone comes to live in the UK, they should abide by UK laws and rules, irrespective of the laws in the land of the nation that they are from. Whether they come here from Qatar, whether they come here from America, whether they come here from Australia or China, you live by the rules of this nation. So I also understand that it has to work in the other direction as well. And I think that for me, FIFA have taken that stance, even with things like poppies of late, because for me, growing up as a kid, I never thought wearing a poppy was a political sign. It was to remember the people that gave their lives in World War I and World War II. That's how I viewed it. But the older you get, you see more gets attached to it. War, and it's never the soldiers' fault, but we are, we now are putting in soldiers that have passed in the Iraq wars that are deemed by many to have been illegal, and it's still very fresh in the minds of people. You've of course got all the troubles that happened with the Republic of Ireland in the north of Ireland, still very raw to a lot of people. And you're in this situation where it does become political, and a lot of individuals just want it all taken away from football. And it's one of the reasons I love the UFC. The UFC has a rule where the fighters can say what they want, but as a company, they're basically apolitical. They don't have a political message. And I like that because I just get to tune in and watch sport, and there's very rarely a debate about politics. It's just sport. So I think they've just got a, it is what it is. I understand why the England team want to do it and why the FA here wants to, but equally, things are different in other countries. I think that does need to be respected.
It is a very sticky situation, like given what we are talking about. But it's at the end of the day, we just want to watch football. We want to see the best players play, and we want to watch a good football game and a good football tournament. And that should be the priority, in my opinion. And that's how I see it. I'm not here for any political discussions. I want to see England win the World Cup. That's the main thing that I want to.
Yeah, exactly. And these a lot of people saying the players should boycott it. My view is no. Some of these players may never get the chance again to play in one, and it's not their fault that it was placed in a country that some people deem to have problems that they can't get over. My view is if you can't get over it, don't watch it, don't participate, don't work there. And move on to other areas. Plus, we're going to deep it. If at a higher level, an actual political level, you want to influence and get nations and people to change their ways, you don't do it by cutting yourself off from them. You do it by integration. You do it by education. You do it by the sort of the nations working together. And I think there's far more to come out of that than just blanket banning people that in today's world don't suit your ideologies. But that's another conversation for another day. It really, really is. Ram, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say, and all the viewers this evening. A short stream after the opening game tomorrow. Of course, it really kicks off. England play amongst the USA play and many more as well. So make sure you're tuning in tomorrow on the Football Terrace. Smash the like and the share button before you leave. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.